Stand up, woman. This better not be on eBay at the end of the day. I heard you. I'll catch up with you in a minute. Thank you. It's symbols. They're there. Pass them around, but give them back to her. She's a spook. Now, at the end of the day, she'll mess you up. All this happened. Second night over flights. We had, well, I'm going to bring a guest up very soon. I have a lot to cover in a very short time. I wing in this. Second night, this or that happened. Third night, I'm involved. It's the night Halt makes his tape. Halt's further away. This was the Disneyland on acid night. This is the night we did have a non-human presence. We did. I've been saying it for almost 30 years now. I don't know where it's from, what it's about, but I saw the reaction to it by our government. I went through a debriefing, not an underground base with an alien, and no one fixed the spaceship and all the things that have been said over the years, because I sure didn't say them. But they were scared, and they got heavy, man. They brought stuff in, and they sure messed our game up. It's a long story. You can research, you can read books, you can read millions of versions. If you want mine, steal this book, just like Jerry Rubin used to say. Steal it. Not this one, though. I stole it from a friend of mine. I don't even own it. So, as time went on, how did I get public with this? I was a post-traumatic stress basket case. Started to really mess with my family. I got out there. I met this girl, Betty Andreasen, through a newspaper article. She's kind of famous. And then they turned me on to CAUSE, Citizens Against UFO Secrecy. And they said, and this guy, Larry Foss, who was a policeman, said, I have a bit of a cold, forgive me, that we can file on this and get, see if we can get documents. And I'm like, yeah, right, sure you will. Sure enough, after numerous denials, out came, because of my information I provided, the Halt memo. Soon after that, and then this thing popped and it was big, and we sent a document to England, and certain researchers and things over there sold it for £25,000, 1983 money, folks, to the News of the World tabloid. We sent it as a courtesy. Righteous. Hope they spent it well. So anyway, so the thing popped in a big tabloid in England, and so therefore it was in the silly farmland for a while. But to put the case on the map, we moved forward. I've been to Japan. I've been around the world with the thing, simply to keep it alive. I never expected any of this to come out at all. By Antonio Huneeus, who's with this new organization that's assuming this conference. Tony's been around since day one. He's throughout the book. I've interacted with Mr. Philip Klass, just as my dear friend Travis Walton did. A hero, by the way. And Phil Klass called me a drug-addicted hippie to a newsman. And that, out came the tape recorder, and he had this hat like from Kojak or the Night Stalker. I don't know if anyone's old enough. And there's a picture of me, like, it looks like I'm surfing at him, in D.C. And he's, baby. So Phil was great, and he invited me on his boat in Chesapeake Bay. And I was a little bit nervous about sailing anywhere with that cat. But, he pissed me off, and so over the ensuing years until he died, if you went through Phil Klass's possessions, because he never told anyone, I made sure every 3 months on the date to send him a get well soon card. True. Signed, Larry. Love, Larry. All the best. Thanks for everything. So I think that I wigged that dude out. He said, this guy's a crazy mother. So he didn't mess with me anymore. But he got lots of greeting cards from me. I also sent him Christmas cards, but I won't say why. Shalom. No offense. At the end of the day, I like to play with their heads too, because they sure like to play with ours. Anyway, as time went on, 1986 came along. I was married to this poor soul named Cindy. And, she's not from all this. I'm not from a family with UFOs, though my mother had a few, and I had a few things happen. And Whitley Strieber, you might know that name, said to me, I knew him before Communion came out. He was looking around at things, and he said, you know, you should write a book. And I'd been in many others at that point. And I said, write a book? You know, how do you do that? I was just no idea. So the title came to my head, Left at Eastgate, and then I started writing it, but I realized I needed an objective voice. I ain't that dummy, you know. I needed someone to kind of measure it out. And then came in Peter Robbins, who I re-met in 1987 at the MUFON deal down in Washington, D.C., where I was actually thrown off stage because I guess I didn't fit the MUFON charter. And Walt Andrus, man, that guy was getting heavy, and I'm like, step off, dude. And he's lurking, he's coming closer, and I'm like, I'm reading. I had to do a paper, and I can't type or anything. I'm like, what do you want? Remember Jackie Mason on the Ed Sullivan? And you know, he's like, you know, Ed's like, he didn't work in show business for years because Ed's like, your time's up, you know, and Jackie's like, what's he doing? And Ed thought he flipped him off, so he was blacklisted. So I'm seeing Walt, and I'm like, what? Who was there? Was anyone there? And so I said, look, and he goes, you must stop, you know, MUFON doesn't approve. Great, you invited me. So I said, anyone wants to hear the rest of this crazy thing, I'll go outside. And I emptied the entire building, and I did my best work out of these buildings. I usually got thrown out of them. And so at the end of the day, I never worked for MUFON again. It's never been invited back. I think Denver was foolish enough years ago. They were great people. I think things have changed, right? Well, way ahead, the book all happened, and it was madness, and the divorce happened. I've done that twice in 2 countries. France is next. And, you know, and I was a crazy bastard, man. It was crazy, crazy days. And I know some, you know, real mentalists all over the world. I've known some of the best characters, and I've known some of the greatest legends in this stuff that inspire me. I will say, and I know this guy gets, you know, the guy's good with a chainsaw, and he hates this stuff, but I will say this, you know, my inspiration always, look, Bob asked me to speak. I'm sorry. I wasn't prepared. My inspiration is a fella named Travis Walton. He was, you know, you all have a focus in life, and I hope my son, you know, really sees the value, because to me, these are heroes, and these are people that really, you know, they inspired me to keep going. You know, if they can do it, I can do it. And I don't mean any embarrassment, Travis, but, you know, can I give you a round of applause? You're my hero. Thanks. And he's got a real, a great lady in his life. He's very blessed, Dana. It's been an honor to meet you too, honey. You know, this is what it's all about, and the good wishes and the fun. What's all this then? Well, as the time went on, you know, life can get real heavy with this. I've been through the break-ins, the going through your house and by someone, and all the things people talk about, but all documented. I had to document everything I could, and this book, just this, on this one little airman first class, could go to a court if such things were described in a courtroom, and I'd win. And I would sweep the floor with any debunker, not physically, though I could do that, if they wanted to challenge this case. I'd wipe the floor with you. You wouldn't win. You wouldn't. So stay seated. You're not here anyway, are you? Because now, back in those days, all they do is write their crazy, you know, character assassination and put it in a crazy journal somewhere or write letters. Nowadays, you got this evil thing that is the end of humanity, in my opinion, called the internet. And now they have fake names, and they go on and they run their mouths. So the internet has given a voice to some of the worst scumbags I've ever seen. Sorry, Bill Gates. I can't even send a text, man. All my friends go, text me, and I go, it's a phone, call me. Yeah, see the kids? England, man. They get run over by cars, man. They do. It's dreadful. So, and now my son, you know, he's into all the wrestling and all that, and that was all good by him, wrestling figures and stuff. You know, it's kind of affordable, and with the child support and all that. And now he wants a laptop, and I think he's getting mine, because I almost threw it through a window a few weeks ago. Anyway, life goes on, and